Hi everyone, I am Allie from A Glass After Work, and happy Wine Wednesday. Today, since Friday is the start of Passover, today we're going to talk about some kosher wines, but before we get into that, I just thought I would share what I am drinking tonight. This is a Storybook Mountain Vineyards 2011 Antaeus. And this wine is actually from my favorites of the wine clubs that I belong, one of the favorites of my wine clubs that I belong to. It's actually the first one that I joined back when, back in 2009 when I went out to Napa for the first time for the Wine Bloggers Conference then. And it's a blend of Zinfandel and Cabernet Sauvignon and Petite Syrah and Merlot. It's a delicious wine. It's $45 a bottle, and or I guess actually, I think I saw it on wine.com for about like $48 a bottle. And it's just Storybook Mountain. If you like big reds, they do a nice job balancing their wines. So I highly recommend it. And with that, I wanted to talk a little bit about today about the kosher wines. I will link to a YouTube conversation that I had with Swirl Sweet this time last year, talking about what makes a kosher wine and some other kosher wine recommendations. Rather than go through all of that today, you should definitely, and if you haven't checked out Swirl Sweet, they are a great group of women. So definitely, if you want to know more about what makes a wine kosher, I would go check that video out. I will link it below. But in the meantime, since Hubby and I are having actually two seders, one on Saturday night with family and then one next Friday with some friends, we've grabbed a bunch of different wines, all kosher wines. Hopefully everybody will like them. And so I thought I would share. So first up, I'll share the wines that I grabbed from kosherwine.com. They tend to be my go-to supplier of kosher wines. They tend to have a good variety. They've always been very responsive whenever I've had questions or issues. And actually, interestingly, when I got this package from them, it's the wines that they sent. They actually also this time sent a fun little magnetic pad. See, it's got a magnet on the back. A fun little magnetic pad for kosherwine.com with tasting notes. And actually for Passover, they sent some disposable coasters, which are also, I think, fun. So I guarantee you we will be using the coasters. And so, yeah. So first up is the white wine that we grabbed, since hubby is a huge white wine drinker. He doesn't really like red. And so it's a Sauvignon Blanc from Israel, from Galilee. It's a 100% Sauvignon Blanc, and it's one that we've had before that we both really enjoy. It's $15, which is pretty fantastic. But for a kosher wine in general, kosher wines tend to be a lot more expensive to begin with, and so the fact that this has got some nice minerally notes, it's not super grassy, but it does have a little bit of grass, so that fresh cut grass, so it's a Sauvignon Blanc, but it's got some good mineral notes and some citrus notes, so it's not kind of a one note wine. That's been my big complaint about Sauvignon Blancs recently, is that I feel like they don't have enough going on. So it's from the Galilee region in Israel, and just to make sure that folks know, right? So right there, that little K is the sign that says it's kosher, and the P next to it, make sure that you know that it's kosher for Passover, just so you know what we're talking about in terms of kosher wines. And it's a non-mashuvah wine, so I'm not a big fan of the mashuvah wines. It's when they kind of boil, the flash pasteurize the wines to help make them kosher. It's not my thing. So second up is a Chianti. It's Terra di Seta Chianti. And the reason why we grabbed a Chianti, so while I do make sure that I'm not actually mixing milk and meat in individual dishes, admittedly, we do have both milk and meat on the table. And so one of the things that I do is I make a masa lasagna. It's vegetarian masa lasagna. And so I thought it would be fun to have this 2014 Chianti, because, you know, what goes better with, you know, kind of Jewish Italian masa lasagna than Chianti. And so this wine is 95% Sangiovese and it's 5% Cabernet Sauvignon. I haven't had it before. It had really good recommendations on kosherwine.com, and they've never steered me wrong before. So I thought I'd give it a try. All right, and so there's that. And then next up is the Gavotte Cabernet Sauvignon. It's a 2016 from the Sharon region of Israel. So it's another Israeli wine. It's 100% Cabernet Sauvignon. And it does spend a little bit of time in the French oak barrels. I've actually had this wine as well. Oh, and I think I forgot to mention the Chianti is actually $18. So again, it's nice to have some wines, kosher wines under $20 is hard to find. So I'm really hoping that's a good one. But this Cabernet Sauvignon, I've had it before. It's I feel like it's a good crowd pleaser. Very easy to drink. It's not too big and jammy, but it does have some good complexity. So I think this will be good. I think it'll do a little bit better with kind of the meat on the table as opposed to the masa lasagna, but we'll see. And this wine is $34, and I feel like that tends to be about the range that a lot of the kosher reds in particular, the ones that I start to like, they tend to be a little more expensive, and so $35 is where I feel like they often fall. That said, the next red is significantly more expensive than that. This is the Clove Missoura, and it's a 2015, and this is a blend of grapes from the Monistant region, and so I tried to get a nice mix of locations so that we weren't doing all Israeli wines. So I thought this is fun. I've actually had this one before as well. It's a Spanish wine. I've had this one as well, and I really enjoy it. It's a more special wine, which I think is nice for the holidays, especially, you know, celebrating with family and celebrating with friends. It's nice to have something a little special. So $68. This won't be the wine that gets poured a lot of. We only have a couple bottles of that, but it'll be the kind of the special wine of the night. And so that was kind of what I grabbed from kosherwine.com. The other wines that we bought they're all from Hajdu Winery, which is actually out in California. There are several really good kosher wine producers out there. The other winery that I do order a lot from is Covenant Winery, and the winemaker actually at Hajdu, he used to be the winemaker at Covenant Winery, so it's probably not a super big surprise that their wines are good. I will say my one complaint, and those of you who have been watching, is that the shipping that they did for the wines, it all came in like the white styrofoam stuff, and as you can see, as I start to show you this bottle, all this static is stuck to the wines on top of it. So on top of being not environmentally friendly, I've got little pieces of styrofoam all over the house, which is just not great. So this is the white wine that we got from that we bought from them, the Makom. It's a 2015 Grenache Blanc. Again, this is a wine that we've had before. I love it. I think it's great. It's a little, their wines tend to be a little on the pricier side. It's a $30 wine, but it's really good. It's really food friendly. We'll be having some turkey, so I think this will go really well with the turkey. And my cousin is making a potato and veggie kugel. I think it'll pair really nicely with that. It'll be good and refreshing with that, very flavorful. And then this, one of the things I love, I know you're not supposed to buy wine based on the wine labels. That's tends to be more of a craft beer thing, but I just love Hajdu's wine labels. So this is their 2016 Grenache. It's from Eagle Point Ranch, Mendocino County. I think it's a great label. It's a lot of fun. And this is going to be a little bit on the lighter, being a Grenache. It's a little bit on the lighter side of the red, so you're not going to get a lot of tannins. It's still got some good flavor, mostly red fruits, strawberries and some raspberries, and it's a nice, easy drinker. It's something I suspect that people who are kind of in that mid-range, they don't necessarily like the super big wines with a lot of tannins and a lot of like feeling and gum pull in your mouth. This is a great wine for those folks. And then the last wine of the group is the Brobdingnagian. It's the Petite Syrah 2016. Again, I don't know if any of you are Gulliver's Travel fans, but the Brobdingnag is the country of the giants, and the kind of the extraordinary height, the gigantic people. And I think, this wine is definitely that. It's the Petite Syrah. It is a giant. It is a big wine. It's probably a wine that you want to kind of close the night out with, because after this you'll kind of lose your taste on everything else. It's big, it's jammy, you just want to sink into it and enjoy it. I actually brought this wine, I think I mentioned in the last video that I once a month or so get together with some wine loving co-workers, colleagues, and for a wine lunch, and we bring our own bottles. And I actually brought this and didn't tell anybody that it was a kosher wine. Everybody loved it. They were very surprised. I think people always associate kosher wine with Manischewitz, and it is clearly not Manischewitz. And so both of the red wines are $50. They're pretty pricey, but they're delicious. So I think everybody's going to enjoy those. And so that's what we're serving for Passover. I don't know whether you celebrate Passover, you celebrate Easter, maybe you don't celebrate anything, but I hope that you have a good holiday. I'd love to know what you're drinking, whether it's Passover, Easter. Love to know what's going to be on your holiday table. And thank you for joining me. If you like this video, don't forget to give me a thumbs up. And I will put all of the details about each of the wines and the wineries and links all down below. So definitely check that out. And with that, have a great Wine Wednesday. Thanks a lot for coming. Cheers.